Hi everyone, Nick Craddock, host of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and tonight you're watching me on Bowdabra. Behind the camera tonight is again my beautiful sister Alex. So as you come in, be sure to say hi, and also be sure to thank Alex for recording me tonight. This is her day off as well, and we're putting her to work. So we're going to be using our large Bowdabra as well as our silver wire. So you guys might recall, oh bless you Alex.
Thank you.
You guys might recall us using the gold wire, but we finished that up last week after making hundreds of bows. So now we've moved on to the silver wire. So I'm just going to cut a length of it. What I always suggest is you actually cut it longer than you anticipate. And the reason for that is it's easier to take away the wire than it is to add. So we're going to take it, I fold it in half so that we have kind of a loop on one side, and that's important. In the end, you're going to realize why. We're going to take it, and at the top of your Bowdabra, see how there's a slit right across from this side to this side? We're going to take that wire and place it dead smack in the middle, and I just like to put it underneath my Bowdabra to kind of get it out of the way. So as you guys come in, like I said, let us know where you're watching from, and also be sure to give this video a like and a share. Tonight, Bowdabra is also giving away a free roll of ribbon. It's called Scrunchy Ribbon, and the color choices are red, silver, and gold. So for my own curiosity, I would love to know what color you would choose. You guys know my favorite color is red, but lately I've been on a big silver kick, so that's what I would probably choose. But I'm interested in knowing what you would choose. So, if there's any questions, feel free to ask. I'm seeing lots of hi, Nick and Alex's. Welcome, you guys. So we're going to start off with the Sam's Club 2.5-inch ribbon. So, I'm going to show you guys a couple different bows tonight. We're also going to be creating a candy cane, and I love making the candy canes. I think they're so much fun, and they're so easy, you guys. So, just taking a length of ribbon, folding it in half. I don't usually measure. It doesn't make a huge difference. And then we're going to just plop that right into our Bowdabra like that. So the bow we're making first is actually going to be my favorite bow of all time for presents. This is called the Funky Bow, and it's my favorite for presents because, it just sits right on the top of a present and it looks really, really nice.
Joe says hello from Central Arkansas. We have Jeannie from Kansas watching. Edna from Maryland.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Lynn asked, hey, Nick, how do you make a loop bow on Bowdabra?
A loop bow. So I'm not sure what a loop bow is. I mean, this has lots of loops, so if that's what you're referring to, this is kind of like a loop bow. Truth be told, you guys, I'm awful with the names. I couldn't tell you the names of bows. I know there's hundreds of names out there and hundreds of different types of bows, but honestly, I just like to keep it simple. I'm not the type of designer that likes to add, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ribbons per bow. I kind of like things much more simple, much more subdued, with maybe 1 or 2 ribbons max. Very rarely do I use 3 ribbons in my bows. And if I do, those are usually kind of like the showstopper bows where that's pretty much the highlight of our wreath.
Edna says, I want to win silver, please.
Awesome, Edna.
Pam says, hi, Nick. Love, love, love the red.
The red.
Maybe.
Oh, well, there is red in this, yeah. Look at the snowman we just made too, you guys. We designed that Nick's exclusive wreath community 2 nights ago. Was it 2 nights ago or last night? When did we go to the mall? Yesterday, right? So I made that last night.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, last night. Time's a blur, you guys. If we're going to be honest, time is a blur. But we're going to add one final piece into our Bowdabra. So the Bowdabra acts as a third hand. And like I said, I don't measure. Sometimes they're longer. Sometimes they're drastically longer. And I just think that adds to the beauty of your bow. So we've added 4 or 5 loops into our bow so far. And that's going to be enough for me. So I'm going to take my wires. And since we folded it in half, you're going to have 2 open ends and 1 that has a loop. Doesn't matter which side you bring it to. Just bring it from one side to the other. And then you can kind of create a slip knot like that and tie it really tightly. So now that it's kind of placed into our Bowdabra and the wire surrounding it, I like to give it several ties to make sure it's in place. So I take one wire, bring it from one side to the other, pull from behind, and secure. So if you would like to win the free roll of ribbon, comment down below you would like to win. We will be drawing our winner in the final 5 or so minutes of this video. And you must be here to win, so definitely stick around. And there's our bow. Looking pretty ugly, right, Alex?
Yep.
Yep. So now we're going to dovetail, fold it in half, cut from the middle out towards the wired edge.
Lori says, oh, that snowman is so, so cute.
Isn't he? I like him. He was fun to make. Didn't take too much time either. So just folding it. I see 500 live viewers. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We go live on Bowdabra every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Beth asked, did you do 2 loops on each side?
Honestly, Beth, I just added a handful of them. It looks like 3 on this side and 2 on this side. So I don't actually really measure. I usually just kind of see if I think it's thick enough. One of the biggest tips I can give you with bow making is to not put too much thought into it. So I know that sounds crazy. If you want a beautiful bow, you really want to follow step by step. And that's not how I learned. And I know that's not how a lot of you guys learn as well. So don't put too much thought into it. If I have 3 on one side and you have 4 on the other, it's just going to mean it's going to be a little bit more full. But it's not really going to change, your bow too much. So now what we can do is fluff open those loops and tails, kind of pull them from one side to the other, make sure there's no creases in our ribbon so that it kind of looks its best. You want your bows to be as pretty as possible, especially if you're gifting these to somebody. So like I said, this is probably my all-time favorite bow for a present, and we're going to be decorating some presents here on Bowdabra, as well as Nick's seasonal decor once we actually start getting presents. So for my family, we're going to be doing nice boxes this year. So Alex, I'm telling you right now, when you wrap any gifts, if you decide to get us any gifts, you are going to come down here and you're going to make them look beautiful. There's no exceptions this year. How's that sound? Miserable? So here's that bow. How pretty is that?
Barb says, any ribbon is great. Love it all. Thank you guys for all the hearts and the shares.
Thank you guys. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? So imagine that sitting right on top of a present. You kind of fluff it out a little bit more, and I think that's perfect. That's the perfect way to finish off a present. So the receiver of the present could absolutely hate their gift, but they're going to see that you want you could even re-gift your gifts with these, you guys. Re-gift your gift if you don't like your gift, but if you put a big bow on top, it looks like you actually put thought into it. So a quick little sneaky way of making your, present receiver, what would you call it? The recipient of the gift? More happy. So cut another length of the wire. I see almost 530. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be live on Nick's seasonal decor after this video. This is actually my 3rd video of the day. We filmed Home Talk earlier. We're doing Bowdabra now, and then we're going to be doing a live on my page. So we're keeping it nice and busy tonight. So we're going to take this ribbon now. This is one of my favorite ribbons. You guys might have seen this before on either my page or Bowdabra, and you're going to see it again because I love the emerald green with the red. I think it's one of the nice combos. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I love it.
Don't you like the little touch of emerald green on the edge?
Pat says your bow technique clicked with me.
Thank you, Pat. That's what I like to hear. So if I haven't clicked bow making in your brain yet, that's okay. We have hundreds upon hundreds of tutorials out there that hopefully, one will click with you. And if not, my goal by the end of the year is to have everybody kind of figure out how to make a bow. So what we're going to do, we just placed our tails. These tails are about 22 inches or so. We're going to take this ribbon, place it in, and we're only going to do 2 loops of this on either side. So these loops are about 5 inches or so. And then we're going to come back in with another ribbon, a sheer ribbon.
Chris asked, how's Yaya?
She's good, thank you for asking. So for those of you that don't know, Yaya had an eye procedure today, and she had to wear big glasses. She kind of looked like Stevie Wonder is what my brother said. But she's doing well. So thank you guys for all of your kind messages and your support. She is going to be A-okay. She has the other eye to do in, I think, 2 weeks or so. They don't do both eyes at the same time. But we're going to cut off our ribbon now. All we've added was 2 loops. That's it.
Donna asked, when will you do a tree topper?
So we're going to be doing tree toppers in the next few weeks or so. So stick around for that. I see almost 600 of you guys. Thank you all so much. So we've done 2 loops of that. We're going to cut another tail for this one. This is just a solid 1.5 inch emerald green ribbon. My pins are sticking to my scissors because they're magnetic. But we're going to cut off these tails. I'm just going to take that and place it on top of those 2 loops on either side that we just added. 603, thank you guys.
Jules says you make the most beautiful bows.
Thank you. So with my bows, I know there's bows out there that, are extremely lavish and beautiful. I like things to be a little bit more simpler here in my shop. I don't like to add too many prints. I like my bows to just kind of, be their standalone own thing with just a simple ribbon. So we're going to do 2 more on either side, and then we're going to finish off this bow with 1 loop in the middle, what I like to call a little button loop. So 2 loops of these. These are about 2 inches or so. Again, I don't measure.
Fran asked where you can get the bow maker.
So you can get this bow maker from Amazon. You can pick it up from Bowdabra.com. You can also pick it up at your local Hobby Lobby or Michael's. But now I just cut off the ribbon, leaving about 1 inch for our final little button loop. And I like the button loops to be really small. Now we can take our wire, bring it from one side to the other, and secure by tightening.
Stephanie says she's a newbie.
Welcome, Stephanie. Thank you for joining. So also, you guys, we are going to be doing a big giveaway on my page in the near future. We have we're almost at 35,000 subscribers on YouTube, 20,000 Instagram followers, and we've already hit our milestone on Facebook. So once we hit those 2 milestones, we're going to be doing a giveaway, which I'm really excited about. Feels like we just did a giveaway. So thank you guys so much for all of the support over the last several months. But now what we're doing is we're just separating those loops. So pulling them from one side to the other, pulling our tails down. Always make sure your tails are going downwards. Separating those 2 littler loops in the middle.
Lou said, "How is your dad doing? We miss him, but love your sister also."
So they don't love you, basically, is what they're saying. No, I'm kidding. Dad is doing okay. His arm is feeling better, but we're letting him rest a few more days before he kind of full swing does my lives again. But I'll let him know. He'll be really happy about that. He gets so excited over comments, you guys. It's the cutest thing. If he's in a video, he'll go back and watch the video on repeat, reading all of your comments, which is so cute when you really think about it. So there's that bow. We have 2 loops on either side of both ribbons, 2.5 inch and 1.5 inch. And I see almost 700 of you guys. Thank you. And then we finish it off with a little button loop. So when it comes to fluffing your bows, I always think it's easiest to fluff your bows actually on whatever design they're going to be on, or on the wall. So when I go to take pictures of these, I make sure they look as nice as possible before I post the picture, really to give you guys the full impact of bows. So hands up if you guys like this one. I certainly do. All right, so let's create our next bow. So our next bow is going to be this beautiful, we haven't worked with this ribbon before, I don't think. This beautiful 1.5 inch blue with a soft champagne color. This is one of my favorite color combos this year as well, which is kind of crazy because I've never been the world's biggest fan of blue for some crazy reason. Cut another length of our wire off.
Nelma says, "Hi, Nick. I'm a ghost watcher, but I watch all of your videos."
Oh, thank you. Who said that, Nelma?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nelma. I appreciate it. So just taking our wire, placing it again underneath our Bowdabra, like that. And now we'll do a double ribbon funky bow using this one. So we're going to create loops about, I'd say, 3.5, 4 inches with tails anywhere from, 6 to 8 inches or so. Those are all just rough guidelines, you guys. You certainly don't have to follow them, super specifically.
Deborah says, "Hi, Nick. First time watching using the Bowdabra. What is the name of the wire you're using?"
I'm using Bowdabra wire as well. So here's a look at that. Comes on a 100-yard spool, so that's 300 feet, you guys. Most ribbons, come on 10-yard spools. You can also get Sam's Club 50-yard spools. So this is 100 yards. So this is definitely going to last you a very long time, especially since we're only using a yard or 2, if that, per bow. This one, we only have about 2.5 feet or so. So you should be able to create lots and lots of bows. So now we're just alternating between the 2 ribbons.
Tracy says, "Beautiful." Diane says, "So perfect."
Thank you, Diane and Tracy.
Audrey says, "Very pretty. Thanks for the tutorial."
Of course. So let us know if these videos are helpful and beneficial to you guys. We always love hearing your feedback. I missed that ribbon. We got to go back to this one instead. But it just lets us know to continue making them. And like I said, hopefully I'm teaching you guys how to make bows. And if not, no worries. My goal is to do it by the end of Christmas. So place our next layer. And I like to do 3 layers for these kinds of bows. All right, there's our next layer. So Bowdabra said, check out bowdabra.com/blog. They have lots and lots of videos there as well. So, definitely check that out. They have hundreds of videos, and it looks like they're adding 3 new posts and videos every week. So we got to come back in with this one. I always forget this one. So just 3 layers of each, you guys. That's it to create this bow. And this bow is going to look really pretty with the blue.
We have Lorraine from the UK who says she's loving the bows.
Thank you, Lorraine. So here's our final loop for this bow. Again, we'll just snip it, place our next and final layer in. And I like to just smush my bows down. So I just compress it. Bowdabra also comes with a wand that you can insert and compress your ribbons. But I've always found it easiest just to do it like this. So that's one thing I want to talk about too, you guys. Just because I move my Bowdabra in this kind of way, I know I kind of use my Bowdabra a little bit weird, but I use all of my tools pretty much kind of weird. So you're going to have to kind of figure out what works best for your hands, and that goes for every tool in your shop, not just your Bowdabra. So always kind of practice it, trying to get it to fit with your hands and your kind of posture and stuff before really trying to do exactly what I do. So play around with your Bowdabra a little bit, give it a shot, and then you guys will master it. So just dovetail the rest of them. This takes just a second or two. I see 650. Let's see if we can hit 700 live viewers tonight.
Pamela says, love all the videos. I learn something new every time I watch.
Thank you, Pamela.
Sharon says, love watching and learning.
I appreciate that, Sharon.
Joanne says, yes, very helpful.
You guys are awesome. You really are. So let's just dovetail the rest of these loops. And then what we're actually going to do is we're going to pause and we're going to actually create the blue candy cane, the blue and gold candy cane, which is one of my favorites. And you guys seem to go crazy over those candy canes. So if you've missed any of our videos before, you guys will be able to see how to make your own candy cane, which is so inexpensive and kind of so much fun to make because you can totally customize it to whatever color combo you would like, whatever design scheme, whatever size ribbon. All right, so just clean up our little scraps there. And what I like to do with my Bowdabra, with my wire, is I like to just snip it off because in the end, we're going to just hot glue this directly onto our candy cane. So there's that bow. We're going to fluff that after we work it in. So look at this ribbon. We've never worked with this ribbon before. Look at how pretty that is with the swirls. We've worked with snowflakes before, but this one I think is better. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Pretty? All right, so I'm just going to drop my roll of ribbon to the ground and start wrapping. I've already pre-started it with just a little bit of hot glue to keep the ribbon in place. And from there on, all you're doing is just taking it, wrapping it around your candy cane, kind of at like a 45-degree angle or so.
Deb says, love the blue.
Me too, Deb. I love this blue.
Gwen says, Nick, you were my favorite to watch. You do such a good job.
Oh, who said that, Gwen?
Yeah.
Thank you, Gwen. I appreciate that.
Debbie says, love your funky bow. I'm getting better.
You know what? Practice doesn't make perfect, you guys, but it certainly helps with bow making. So, definitely practice a little bit. If you don't get it the first time, like I've said before, once it clicks in your brain, it's kind of like, why haven't I done this before? Because, once it clicks, you just master it, and you've got it after that. So, of course, there's so many different styles of bows, but I like to keep my bows simple, like I said before, whether it be through the funky bow, traditional bow, or kind of that 2-ribbon bow that we created. So almost done with wrapping. See how quick that is? It's so quick. All right, almost there.
Edna says, oh, pretty, love it.
I know, look at that color, you guys. Isn't that a pretty candy cane? I know we've done blue in the past, but I don't think we've used this kind of deep, rich blue. I think the other one was a little bit lighter. So I'll just snip it off because I'm sick of getting glitter all over me. I'm not a glitter guy, you guys. You know that. Then we're going to just take the rest of it and wrap it around our candy cane. So what did you guys do today? I hope you all had a lovely day today. If you did anything fun, we want to hear about it because we don't do anything fun anymore. Right, Alex?
Michelle asked how you attach the ribbon.
So what I did, Michelle, is I just took it and I just wrapped it right around our candy cane. In the beginning, I did add a little bit of hot glue. And I can show you guys on this end. Maybe we'll just wrap it a little bit higher like that so I can show you guys. We're going to take our hot glue. I just use a scrap stem with my glue skillet. So taking that, 700 live viewers, thank you guys. Add a generous dollop of hot glue. Kind of tighten it a little bit. Place your ribbon right there. And then snip off the excess. And then compress. So we'll just do the same process again. Like that. Compress it. And I like to kind of have it match where the last piece was.
Diane says, I'm never buying glitter ribbon again. My whole house is full of glitter.
Diane, I feel your pain. And the worst is when I'm with my friends or family member and there's that one piece of glitter that kind of reflects off the light. You know what I'm talking about, Alex, don't you?
Yeah.
That one piece of glitter that seems to just stay no matter how many times you wipe your face. But glitter does make things pretty. So just wrapping it one final time. I see almost 750 people now. Thank you, guys. Wrap it one more time. Take your hot glue and secure it. And then cut off the excess. Like so. Come on, where is it? There we go.
Cynthia said, you inspire me so much. I love watching you. Always go back to your bow videos. Bought 2 candy canes to make sure won't be as beautiful as yours.
It absolutely will. I can promise you that. These candy canes are so simple and so fun. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a break after we add this. Here we have our bow. I just applied hot glue to the back of it, and I'm just going to place it right on our candy cane. So add some pressure to it, and then put it to the side so it can dry for a few minutes, and then we can come back to that later on. But now what I thought would be fun would be to make a dog paw print ribbon. So everybody loves dogs, and if you don't, you can use cat ribbon or gerbil ribbon or whatever ribbon you would like, because it comes in so many different styles now. So this is my leftover bit right here. We're just going to take that, place that into our Bowdabra with a piece of wire, of course. I see 810 people now. Thank you all so much for tuning in. For tuning in. What happened to this? There we go. I think I just pulled out the wrong end. Snip it off. Take the end of your wires, fold them together. Place it into your Bowdabra. And then, like I said, always use your scrap rolls of ribbon, you guys. Don't be wasteful. Always use it, whether it's a foot, 2 feet, you name it, put it to use. Place it into your Bowdabra like so.
Deborah says to use a lint roller to get all the glitter off.
You know what? Who said that, Deborah? I've tried that before, and it does work, but when you when you deal with pounds and pounds of glitter like we do here, it always seems to stay.
Diane also says spray with hairspray and the glitter doesn't fall off.
That's true, but, you know, I don't use hairspray for my own head, so I'm probably not going to spray my ribbons. It's going to be, you know, it goes everywhere, you guys. That's just how glitter rocks and rolls. So we're going to take this, place it in. We're going to do just a traditional bow here. So just continue alternating. I like to move my Bowdabra instead of moving my hands. So I just constantly rotate my Bowdabra one side, flip it to the other side, and continue working in my loop. So this is the easiest bow to make on a Bowdabra. And like I said, it's one of the ones that I do the most of because everybody loves a traditional bow. Hands up if you guys love traditional bows. I know I do. So we'll do one more loop on either side.
Stephanie says this is far too addictive. Tuning in from Scotland, I should be in bed.
From Scotland, wow. Welcome. So I'm sorry if it's addictive. You know, all I can say is if you haven't made a bow yet, and if you haven't made a wreath yet, please listen to me when I say don't, because it is addictive. So if these videos are addictive, once you kind of dabble into the art of making wreaths and making bows, you can't stop. So now we have our traditional bow made. We're going to tie it off to make sure it stays where it is.
Carrie says you make it look so easy.
Thank you, Carrie. So we are approaching the 7:25 mark just in a couple minutes. So if you haven't commented down below that you would like to win a free roll of ribbon, I suggest you do so now so that you can be entered and possibly win a free roll, because we all love ribbon, and who doesn't want a free roll of ribbon? So I'm going to cut these tails at an angle instead of just cutting it directly across.
Becky says I have a ribbon addiction.
You know what, Becky? We all do. Ribbon comes in so many different prints. My addiction is kind of solids and basic types of ribbons. I've never been one for super duper fancy types. But we all have our own style and our own preferences. So that's what makes things that much more interesting, because you guys might not like the color bows I make. But you can definitely switch out the colors and switch out all the combinations. More than anything, I want you guys to master the technique and not the color choices I choose. So there's our little traditional dog paw print bow. And we actually created a paw print wreath. And hands up or comment down below if you guys remember that from all those years ago. I say that, but it was like, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. But it seems like a long, long time. You know which wreath I'm talking about, Alex?
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, with the paw prints.
Yeah.
So this would be a perfect ribbon and perfect bow for that kind of project. So I see over 800 still. Thank you, guys. What we're going to do now is come back to our candy cane real quick and fluff out those loops. Pull them from one side to the other. And this design and all of my designs are listed in my Etsy shop. If this isn't listed today, it'll be listed tomorrow. So my designs do sell really fast. And, I've been getting a lot of messages asking, to replicate. Unfortunately, we're not doing that for 90% of our designs this year. So if something does catch your eye, definitely snag it before it goes, because the odds of me making another are pretty much slim to none. We're having a lot of fun doing all different designs. See, just by pulling those loops apart, the effect you can get. How pretty is that bow, Alex?
Yeah, I love the colors.
You do love the colors?
Yeah.
Me too. Doesn't it just look rich with those blues? I had some berries that I was going to put in it. Here they are. So for this bow, we're going to keep it nice and simple. And I'm actually not going to add any other decorative picks other than these berries. So how nice do those berries match?
Yeah, they look
Don't
good.
they?
Perfectly.
Perfectly. So we're just going to snip them off. dip them in our glue skillet, and actually work them into the bows. So you might be wondering, where are you sticking these? How are they going to stay on? Are they going to fall off? And the answer to, are they going to fall off is no. They actually stay exactly where you place them as long as you have good surface contact with the ribbon and the hot glue and the stem itself. So I'll break down another piece of this, just snipping it off, working in those berries. And I love these berries. Don't you, Alex?
Yeah, they're
Aren't those
pretty.
So here's another piece. Place it there. So we're at the 5-minute mark. So if you haven't entered, definitely enter now, because Bowdabra will be choosing a winner in just probably a few seconds, actually. So quickly comment if you want to be entered. Look at how pretty. Isn't that
I
pretty?
love it.
Just a few berries. That's it.
Cheryl says that it's such a beautiful candy cane. Stunning. The ribbon is classy.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Sandy says very elegant.
So one thing I also want to encourage you guys, when you're making your bows on Bowdabra, I recommend it's all about personal preferences. If you're just starting out and you can't put your ribbons together, or you have a tough time matching, my biggest tip is, looking at the color wheel first and foremost. So me and Alex, actually, when we went to school, Alex majored in fashion. I obviously went to floral school. So we kind of know the color wheel by now. But even before then, if I had any issues, just look at it, put your colors together. And my biggest tip is, if you're working with a ribbon like this, see how that has lots of words? Doesn't that just look busy? So if you were to use this, I'd recommend just a solid ribbon next to it. See how nice that combo looks? But if you took this and worked in like another print with, something that's also busy, it kind of looks overwhelming. So if you haven't made a bow yet, I highly suggest starting with just something very, very simple, not too busy. So what I thought we would do tonight too is actually make a very small little football bow, a football ribbon bow. So we're going to take another length of our wire. Doesn't have to be long by any means, right there. Right? And then we're going to fold it in half, place it into our Bowdabra, fold it underneath. Here we have our football roll. This came with 20 yards, maybe 50 yards. This might be a 50-yard spool. And I used to use this ribbon a lot. Remember, Alex?
Yeah.
I haven't actually touched this in probably two years or so. I don't think I made any football wreaths last year, so we're going to put it to use tonight. So whenever you deal with ribbons like this too, you always want to make sure you keep in mind the print. So I don't like cutting off prints like that. I always like to keep them in their entirety. So we're just going to take that, right, and make sure that you can fully see the lace. So I'm going to cut 2 tails off, make sure that there's 4 pieces or so. So I'll cut it here. We can dovetail it right off the bat. Place that ribbon into our Bowdabra with those nice tails. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to create a very simple bow. So take that ribbon, create your first loop, create your second loop, and like I said, I don't measure my loops, you guys. If you feel more comfortable doing that, by all means, you certainly can. So we'll do those 2. I'll drop my ribbon to the ground. It makes it easier to work with. Create our next loop. We'll do 2 loops of each, and then 1 for the button loop right in the middle. So that's our second loop on either side. Now we're just going to take a very small piece of ribbon, place it into our Bowdabra. Always also leave a little bit of leverage too, you guys. So leave about 1/2 inch or so of ribbon past the Bowdabra mark, or any kind of bow making device or by hand. Always leave a little bit of leverage in case your wire gives out or in case you don't tighten it enough. All right, so there we go. Do we have our winner chosen yet?
Yes, we just chose our winner, and our winner tonight is Marty Kesseling. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Marty. So Marty, message Bowdabra, and they will be more than happy to send you a free roll of scrunchy ribbon. So the color choices, like I said, are red, silver, and gold. So message them with the color you prefer the most, and they will be sending it your way. Pull those tails down. And look at that. How pretty is that bow, you guys? So let's do a quick little recap. We created this bow. We created this candy cane with this bow and a few berries. We created this bow, which is probably my favorite for tonight. I love that look. That bow. We created this traditional 2.5 inch funky bow using just 1 ribbon. That would look great on a present. And lastly, we created a traditional bow using our dog paw print. So, like I said, you can curl those tails, you can dovetail them, you can kind of cut them short. the bows are so customizable, it's not even funny, you guys. So have a little fun when you design your bows. It makes it that much more interesting and really adds your own little personal touch. So I want to thank Bowdabra so much for having me as a guest this week. I will see you all on Bowdabra's page next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and shortly we will be live on Nick's seasonal decors page. So hopefully you guys can tune in there. And as always, I love each and every one of you guys, and I appreciate the support more than you'll ever know. So until next week, have a safe week, and I'll see you guys then. Bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone.